Hey, what's up guys? This is Poker Express, and we are back with another episode of Poker Hands. Before getting into it, I would like to ask you guys to hit the like button and subscribe if you enjoy our videos. Let's jump straight into the action.
Raise 25,000. Cool.
Shoot it down. Shoot it down.
Cool.
Aaron 25,000 from +1.
25,000.
King Jack of Hearts.
Cool. Cool.
Good.
Cool.
You don't mean that.
Kelly peeling from the big deuce 3 in the same suit. And what a flop we have here. 9, 4, 5, 2 hearts. Kelly opening his straight flush draw. Aaron with 2 overs and the flush draw. Having opened from +1.
Check.
And he decides to check back on this board. Oh my word. Have you seen a sicker hand? Straight flush versus nut flush. We are playing Texas Hold'em. These guys need to get themselves over to a cash game. Bad beats galore. 60k bet from Kelly into Aaron, who now holds the nuts, and he's bet 60. She's bet 16 to 65 on a card that should favor him. He does make the call. Deuce on at the end. Let's see how much acting goes on in this pot. Both cannot wait to get their chips in. He's going to size pretty big here, I think. Just targeting ace-X a lot. There we go, 175, just a shade under the pot. Now Aaron will do his best acting job before jamming. And when he gets snapped, he's going to assume he's won. There's no way he's thinking she has a straight flush. This is a sickening hand. He does move it all in.
Open him up, please.
She gets it in.
Wow, you're a pro. That's it. Keep a patch. What the fuck?
I got it.
I got it. He's like GG. He's like GG. See ya. Get out of here. No tea time.
That was fun.
Jorge. Yeah, I don't have the discipline in me.
Thought
6-3
about it.
suited.
Yeah,
I just,
you're
you
raising
know,
it
I
up.
can't help myself. I need to pump it up. Cesar, yeah.
Jack 6 diamonds. Those yellow chips worth 1,000 apiece. Papa representing the Enjoy Resort and Casino.
Is he thinking about representing something stronger than 8-deuce offsuit here out of the small blind? No. Boy, I was hoping he would just get after it. Set the tone early. And there is...
Brent, how do we want to refer to him?
I'm calling GM Walter.
Okay.
It's not
GM
his real
Walter.
name,
Okay.
but it's his
Okay. No,
online.
that's great. Let's do it then.
Yeah, it's actually Rafael Mores. I'm going GM Walter.
Okay, I'll do it too. Ace, Queen, Deuce with 2 diamonds. Both flop a flush draw.
We are 1 diamond away from deep trouble for Mr. Cesar.
GM check calls. 4 on the turn. Gut shot. For GM Walter. Cesar fires again, 40K. 170K now in the pot, as you see on the bottom right corner of your screen.
Yeah, getting a great price now with the nut flush draw still. Have to imagine Cesar just going to go all 3 streets here with or without a made flush on the river. We know this, Jeff. He is better off without making his hand.
And he makes his hand, which is indeed major trouble. Both players river the flush. GM Walter with the stone cold nuts.
See if GM decides to check this one more time. The problem is, and I know it's running through his mind right now, he's thinking, okay, if I check, I give my opponent the opportunity to check behind. He wants to make sure he gets called every time he's up against ace-x. The fact that it's gone bet, flop and turn signifies strength out of this man right here, Cesar, suggesting he does in fact have an ace.
Almost a pot-sized fire from GM Walter, 200K with 650,000 behind.
I certainly wouldn't fault him for putting in a raise here, Jeff.
For sure.
I am a little concerned about the Queen X of diamonds. That's a combo that could have been present, and obviously we can see here the nut flush also available. But we've got number 3. Is there an amount that we could raise to and get off of it? Maybe something like 500 or 600,000, and then when shoved on, we can fold. That being said, maybe he just calls. I'd be really impressed if he just called. I'm not even sure it's correct theoretically to simply call in this spot.
He is just going to call with the jack-high flush.
I'm really impressed. Cesar gave that a ton of thought.
Saving himself a lot of chips.
I thought he was acting, posturing, sort of in the tank, and then he was going to put out a raise. But he was just absolutely thinking things through and said, my man's got a flush. I think I can only just call here.
Carlos, King Jack of Diamonds +2. He's coming in for a raise. Faraz in the next seat. Ace Queen, also in diamonds. Up against a 30 big blind stack opening. Faraz could definitely go one of 2 ways here. Looks like he is electing to 3-bet.
120
Gone fairly sizable as well. 120 against a 30 big blind open. Carlos can't peel too wide already, so it's definitely a healthy sizing. Carlos, I imagine with this hand, will peel and plays pretty well post flop. Wow, what a flop. Both players smashed the board. 10-9-4, all diamonds. Carlos is busting. Now, how slow are they both going to play this? Is Faraz going to slide out a little c-bet? It's very easy for them to get this in by the river. Decides to bet 80. Give Carlos a little bit of room. Carlos could make a mistake here, he thinks. Little does he know, whatever happens, this is going in. Carlos, you'd imagine, just a call here. Allow Faraz to hang himself. That's what he'll be thinking. No, he's going the other way. He's coming out with a little raise. 100,000 more. Faraz can't believe his luck. Carlos with this over 200,000 behind. Now decision, does Faraz just get it in here? At any point in just flat calling, does Carlos ever check raise fold this board? Does he want to get it in now before a scare card comes and potentially kills his action?
Got a flush.
Well, when he says, and Carlos says, I've got a flush.
Got a flush? Oh, sick.
Well, that's as cold as it gets.
And you got my straight flush out too, right? I can still catch 8 of diamonds and 7 of diamonds. Yeah, 8 of diamonds, 7 of diamonds.
Well, that is the only way Carlos has to stay in this
Wow.
tournament. Running 7, 8 of diamonds.
All 4 of the big diamonds are gone. All right, good game, guys.
What's that?
Thanks, man. Have fun.
With that, for us, back over 2 million. In fact, very healthy 2.5 million chips in his stack.
Next pay jump worth $81,000. Everybody guaranteed at least $230K.
$230,000. Oh my goodness.
Too hard to. You put me on ace king when it comes. You put me on ace king. When the ace comes.
9-8 of spades for Christian in the cutoff. Opens Anton with the king jack of spades on the button.
Yeah, we saw him flat this sort of hand before. Expect him to do the same thing. Maybe he does change it up. You can consider 3-betting, applying pressure to Christian, leveraging the chip leader. You hate to ever really 3-bet fold a hand as good as king jack suited, especially when we can play it in position. James getting a great price. King deuce suited, obviously a little dangerous anytime you have king or ace high in these spots. You have to tread very carefully.
Three-handed to this flop. Deuce in the window. It comes 9-4. Deuce top pair for Christian. Anton backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw.
Yeah, let there be range, sort of wide open for Anton, saying, all right, boys, well, I'll bet this board then.
I'll
No
fire
problem.
it.
I'm sort of wide open. What did I flat with? Was it 9-8 suited himself?
James also with a backdoor flush draw.
Pretty difficult for James. I'd probably just consider calling here. 6 million. Turn a little equity. How about that? Or just fold. I think
Nice
raise would have
laydown.
been an ultimate disaster. Christian can play his hand quite easily. Top pair. Backdoor spades as well. Just call.
The turn is the 6 of spades. Flush draws for both. Anton's being the better one.
And again, it is now sort of decision time. If we think that Christian is weighed heavily towards just a stubborn ace-high holding, 2 barrels makes a good amount of sense considering the equity we have with that flush draw.
He's going to fire. Looks like 24. Massive pot developing between our 2 big stacks.
Christian trying to make sense of this. What would he be unloading 2 shells with? Did he turn some equity that he can semi-bluff with? And that is a cause for concern when we have just the 9-high flush draw. You may give him credit for just that. Clearly, we're not going anywhere.
More than 79 million in the middle. The river is the queen of spades. It's a flush for both.
Oh. Wow.
How much does Anton look for here? Another absolute cooler.
Just has to call.
Yeah, the check snap call. The bet was for 45 million.
Leon under the gun with king queen.
Although he also blocks here the king 10, which is also a possible hand that David could have. So I think it's a fine call here anyway by Victor. And Victor also did not have a diamond in his hand, which is an advantage, which means that David still could have a lot of potential diamond draws as well.
Victor's going to make the call with ace-7 from the big blind.
Yeah, versus Leon has a very wide opening range. It's a very easy call there.
This is the top of Leon's range lately.
Victor flops 2 pair. Leon doesn't really hit the flop. Decides to check behind. Picks up a flush draw on the turn, which actually also Victor does with a 7. However, Leon has the better draw. Because he only has 80% equity because he needs to hit a club. And Victor actually has one of his outs, so there's only 8 outs that could help Leon give the best hand. And if he hits, he's never gonna fold, even though it's not a nut. Leon is not gonna fold.
Leon's never
Queen
folding.
high flush. Well, it's an 8 high flush, but with the queen in his hand, he's not gonna fold. And he will of course call here. You know, he has the clubs, and maybe sometimes a king or a queen.
Might
Could
be
him.
good here, but as we know from our standpoint, we can see.
And there is the
Wow.
club. So we can already say another pot to Leon. The
Leon
question
goes
is,
from
will
what-
Victor lose some more chips?
Leon goes from worst to first. Just like that.
He makes a very nice small bet, and wondering if Victor will be able to get away from this hand. Don't think so. Although maybe he has a read on Leon that if he bets small, he really has it, and if he's bluffing, he always bets big. So that might be something that would talk him into folding. On the other hand, he only has to pay 230,000 for a pot worth
1 million.
almost 1.1 million. So if you're good here only 25% of the time, you're still making a very good call here. So I don't think you can fold here.
As we know, Victor does lean more towards the tight side. So if anyone were going to make the fold, it would be Victor.
Also have a nut blocker here, but your hand is wouldn't suggest turning your hand into a bluff and trying to
not.
represent the 5-7 or the 10-7 of clubs here.
Especially now, there's no way you can.
He will give it some thought. Last hand he gave it some thought as well with his pocket kings. And he was good there, so maybe he will be good again here.
And he's counting out the chips as he did previously.
And he makes the call, and he will get the bad news. And of
And that's
course,
okay.
the moment Victor calls, he knows that Leon has the best hand, because if he would have a better hand, then he would have been raised. So it's always good to
always
see
a
your
good feeling.
opponent start thinking about calling, not thinking really about raising.